Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. Just acknowledge it, knowledge with no scholarships. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. Breaking everything down, tech to politics. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. We don't tell you what you want, we just give you what you need. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. News, blues, and views from these Chi-Town streets. Topic Thunder.
Hold on. Am I crazy? I can't hear you. But
that makes a lot of sense, Ben, because I had the mute button pressed.
Yes.
Welcome to
professionals.
See that we do need like a jar. We need some sort of either electronic or otherwise a jar.
Right. That we donate to. Yeah.
Will we break like that radio code or don't hit the cough button, which you so expertly played about 2 weeks ago. Indeed. Okay. My bad. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. It's Topic Thunder, setting sail from the deck of the USS Rapapa. My name's Brooks. That's Ben. And already lighting up in the, look, we've got some luminaries already in the world's most dangerous chat zone.
Stoney McGee in the
house.
And Chris, Ryan Hansen. Yeah.
That's the Thunderdome, ladies and gentlemen. And it
right
is
there.
We got our points right at least.
I've got it down now. Like it's right before I do it, I always question myself, but then I always get it right.
That last thing, like it's like when you go up to the top of a tall building and you have an urge to jump. There's just something in your brain. That's actually a psychological thing. Look it up. It's a legitimate thing. I know,
we've talked about that before, I think.
Yeah, we have on the show. Like this way, but you could never really be sure where the Thunderdome is, ladies and gentlemen, to be honest with you. So as we wait for everybody to roll in, thanks for checking us out either on Facebook or YouTube, Twitch. We're on all of those available applications.
Yes, and if you want to go back and see some of the old episodes, everything is cataloged on the YouTube page as well. That's the easiest place to find and the quickest place to find old episodes if you want to go back and relive some of the glory.
That is Topic Thunder, Mod Jordan, one of the first VIP, very important parent to join us in the Thunderdome. So, folks, without dilly or dally, which we usually use on the back end of this, so I've got to come up with another little cool phrase before the end of the show. We like to have ourselves a beverage. There's Dad after Brooks in the house too, folks. Holy smoke! Did you know that today is National Beer Can Appreciation Day?
I did not know that.
Well, that's why we do Topic Thunder, ladies and gentlemen. Libations, of course. And if you're a fan of the show, you know that we're a fan of really cool beer cans. And
yes,
this goes back years. This goes back different apartments and different studios and almost like different lifetimes that we've been highlighting not only local delicious beers, but also really artistic beers. I did not go nuts. I didn't go anything crazy. I think
ninjas versus unicorns, I think, has always been like the standard bearer.
It is absolutely probably the easiest to recall because it is so cool. However, today I wasn't. I'm not trying to hype anything or anything like that. Today, I just went with one of my favorite beers because, truth be told, I'm trying to cut back on the old cerveza. This is Zombie King.
Whoops.
There it is. There he is.
Yes. There you go. Very cool.
It's a solid can. Which thanks. That's my tennis name.
That's my tennis name.
Doesn't make any sense. I was just trying to random like whatever. But Zombie Dust is a solid beer, a solid can here on National Beer Can Appreciation Day. So cheers to everybody. Let's I don't know.
Remember, just for everyone's
stuff to talk about
to jog your memory. This is, of course, the Ninjas versus Unicorn.
I didn't see it at the local liquor store. Otherwise, I would have jumped on it. Then I saw Zombie Dust, and I was like,
also cool. It's just it's just not Ninjas versus unicorns.
It's just not. And now I feel
So have you reviewed this this beer before?
Zombie Dust. Zombie Dust is probably like my favorite like craft beer.
Okay.
At least like mass produced. It's out of Three Floyds, which is in Munster, Indiana.
Okay.
So kind of local to this area, and the pretty wide distribution now. I don't know where they are as far as like states, but solid beers. But you have to like heavy hops on your beer, which is the as Gigi
Heavy
describes.
Yes.
Just 3 fingers.
And I'm with her. And I'm with her on that. I don't like that at all.
It doesn't feel good at all. Like, go ahead and give that a test on yourself. Like 3 fingers pointed right in. Like that doesn't feel good. And that's how Gigi describes many of the imperial pale ales that I like.
Ryan Hansen in the Thunderdome raises an interesting point. He says, I prefer my beer in a bottle, but cans can have the best designs or do have the best designs. Beer, bottle versus can. What are you a proponent of?
Can.
Really?
Because
I would prefer bottle myself.
Even with the best. So interesting enough, do you know that what happens to beer when light hits it?
I don't.
It degrades.
Interesting.
So any kind of light that gets into it, be it your brown bottle or your green bottle, when light gets into it, it does affect and there's a chemical reaction with the yeast and everything that's inside the beer. Having a can is a more pure way to experience the beverage right when it comes out of the tap. Then it gets sealed, no light, no air.
So for taste, it's better in a can, but for the experience, drinking out of a bottle is much better.
I'm not saying I don't drink out of a bottle. I mean, it's cool. It's
I
iconic.
prefer it. Yeah, I prefer
it's
to drink out of a bottle.
I mean, unless you're like crushing cans on your head, or you lived at a place called OBT and you built an ungodly beer pyramid out of Stroh's and Coors Light and Busch Light cans. I get the bottle thing, right? It maybe because it could be, I don't know, colder, but like I would argue you can get an aluminum can just as cold as a glass.
No, I
don't know, but I'm just saying I don't care. Give me the beer.
Right.
Right.
Bottom line, yes.
Bottom line, but I will tell you there are purists. That is the argument between cans and bottles. There it is. Dan Effer Brooks loves a Tyskie, which is a Polish beer. We've had it on the show. It's a good beer. It's not something for that I would drink like on a hot summer day. But I like a Pilsner. And we've talked about that. We also talk about stories, and we have a certain segment for that. We call it headlines. Nobody's thought of that before, and will ever do it again.
Clever.
It's the best. It's trademarked.
Honestly, I think it's so rare that you can't even trademark it.
It's public domain.
I think so. Like, can you really trademark the word headlines?
Well, we've seen what happened.
Like you could.
We've seen what happened to Steamboat Willie when he became public domain.
Dude, there's a lot of cartoons and intellectual property from Disney that is about to become public domain, and it is going to open the doors wide for all kinds of, like, I don't know if you've seen it, but Adult Swim used Steamboat Willie, and they used the whole, like, when he's poking the cheese thing, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, if you haven't seen it, they use it, but it's like he's humping the Adult Swim logo. It's fucking hilarious.
See, okay. I will tell you that
trademark the word
trademark. Go for it, right? The DC Trinity of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, I think in the next 10 years, like 10 to 12 years, all three, or like their initial iterations of them, become public domain.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the trend is now, like, with the Winnie the Pooh thing, and I guess also with Steamboat Mickey or whatever, Steamboat Willie, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
like the immediate trend is to make horror movies out of all those characters. So get ready for your Superman horror movie coming at you.
Right. And we thought James Gunn had already done that. Ladies and gentlemen, coming
Hey,
from
yo!
hey, how you doing? We haven't been to Ukraine in a while.
No, it has. We've been distracted, ironically.
There have been a lot of things tugging at our attention, be it Iran, then it was, Israel, Gaza. Our friend Vlad always likes to pop his head in there, and there's just the show. We're proud of kind of being able to hit to all fields, right?
What's up, fingers?
The LWF is coming. Well, I mean, that's a different type of movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just today, there was a situation which we always try to talk about those touch points and moments to remember that could propel us forward as not only a nation, civilization, but as a world. There was a situation and a plane that was felled today.
Really? That's not good.
Inside of Russia. All of the initial reports, and it's a ginormous plane. It's like a cargo plane. I don't know if you wanted to scroll and just kind of hang on the picture right there.
Yeah.
That is a ginormous plane. The II or IL or whatever 76 aircraft, right? It's a big plane. Was according to Russian officials carrying some 300 Ukrainian prisoners of war. And it was going to transport them back to Ukrainian territory. However, that's according to the Russian side, right? And we all know at this point, you have to kind of have a certain set of filters.
Right, if it's coming from Russian, from Russian media, yeah.
You really do. And you kind of almost has to understand what they're doing and their mindset. And if you've been a fan of the show, we've also kind of covered that too.
Right.
So, this plane goes down shortly after takeoff. This plane had recently, and what I mean recently, within hours, have already landed in Iran, and then landed close to what was it, Belgorod, which is relatively close to the Ukrainian border.
Okay,
but every report out of Russia was full of POWs that were being exchanged because the Russians are so benevolent to POWs, and that Ukrainian forces shot it down. They shot their own people down, Ben.
wait a minute. Hold on. I was trying to piece that together as you were and I was thinking, am I hearing this wrong? Am I misunderstanding something? So Russia's story is that they are saying Ukraine shot down a plane full of their own POWs. That's the story that Russia's going with.
That's the official Russian line.
That's ridiculous. How can you expect anyone to believe that?
And no one should, because Ukraine has said we were not informed, one, of this transport and this exchange. Two, we were not told this particular airspace was going to be used for this. And there are a whole bunch of other logistical problems with this, including that this plane was taking off north, apparently, when Ukraine is south. Now, I get like taking off on certain runways for Airstream and all that kind of stuff, right?
Right. It can be confusing sometimes, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I can completely out of my the ballpark in sport, right?
Gigi brings up a good point. Is this not exactly what happened to what's his fuck Wagner Group
Prigozhin?
guy?
Prigozhin?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is a almost uniquely Russian type of accident, because there was about 10 years ago, I think, or so, an airline, MH17, a Ukrainian airline or something like that. You can pull up, you can, as I'm trying to explain the story, maybe you can find something. All you have to do is type in MH-17. And it was another situation where this airliner was just shot down clearly with a surface to air weapon. There's corroborating videos from people that were just out filming nature and shit like that, right? And Russia also is alleged to have shot down an airline with a bunch of Polish delegates over a very the Katan like forest in Ukraine. It's it There's a whole lot of evidence that this is another one of those Russia MOs, and I'm not trying to be Russia phobic.
Right.
I'm just saying that if you're in Russia, don't hang out near a window because there's a pattern of behavior.
Hold on. There's a good doc about it on Netflix. I'm interested. Okay, how did I miss this? I wonder. If you can hook me up with the name of that documentary, Gigi. I'm anything Netflix does as far as a documentary is concerned, I will watch it. I don't care what the topic is. It's just it's going to be good. Netflix does not fuck around when it comes to its content. And that's foreshadowing. And that's foreshadowing.
Do they?
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
Aunt Chris with an awesome. There were birds in that like picture of the
Yes.
ginormous like that. Sure, absolutely.
Yes, it was the birds.
I
because we know birds aren't real.
Well, no, they're not.
I don't know, guys. We've discussed this before, but they're not. They're robots.
They're
spy on us.
They are
They're drones.
From the people of the flat Earth.
Oh, it wasn't the Malaysian plane, guys. That's okay. No worries.
No, the Malaysian plane's different, and I think that one. I don't know. Was that over Europe or was that over like the Pacific? I think the Malaysian airliner was like the Pacific.
Is that the one where the plane just straight up disappeared?
In some of the most treacherous parts of the world and ocean, that part of the Indian Ocean that's like way west and south of India is horrific for storms. Like it's like there's a reason they don't like advise.
But they never found like any evidence of this whatsoever.
So deep, it's so messed up. And because if something went down, even if it went down intact, the waves and the how
watch the dog. All right, I'll watch it. All right.
But yeah, so I don't think they had anything to do. I'm not shit. What do I know? These jerks fucking poison anybody. The state lines and national lines don't matter to them. And there's a story here that Vladimir Putin agrees. So again, when you deal with Russia, here's Russia denying deporting Ukrainian children, but admits hundreds of thousands of them are on its territory. Jeez. It's another story that we've covered before. Is that if you don't have to like know your history, because all of us haven't we don't know the depths of warfare and tactics from various nation states, right? But this is the peculiar, very interesting and unique tactic to Russia in this regard. They enjoy kidnapping children, and especially
I need more reason to hate them,
because they have a population problem. Period.
Russia has a population problem?
That, and it's a form of genocide. It's another way to commit genocide, because these children are then being indoctrinated into Russian society and being taught to erase and hate the Ukrainian way of life.
Interesting.
So it is actually a weapon of war, to be honest with you, this type of indoctrination.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Tried and true. It's
certainly not out of their purview. And nothing like this. It seems like, oh, that's so ridiculous. They couldn't be capable of that. No, we're talking about Vladimir Putin and Russia. They're capable of doing and trying anything to get an advantage,
including trying to get Alaska back.
I'm sorry, what?
That's right. Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a new decree relating to Moscow's historic real estate holdings abroad, a move interpreted by ultra-nationalist bloggers as a foundation for future revisionism. which I had to look that up, and I hope I'm saying that right. But it's basically the retaking of lost territories against
Gotcha.
Russia's neighbors, even the U.S.
How do you say that? Revanchism?
Revanchism,
Revanchism? Revanchism. I think that's how you say it.
revanchism,
Revenge. Yeah, that's weird. That's
right?
a weird word.
It's a fun word, but a weird word. Yeah,
I've never seen that word before in my life. I think
Like
I'm
I said,
43 years old, and I think it's the first time I've ever seen that word.
I had to highlight the word, right click on it, and search with Google
Yeah.
prior to the show.
Newsweek getting fucking crazy on me.
Right? And I
Dumb
like
it
it.
down for me.
No, that's why you read to learn. Now
You're right. You're right. I know this word and I didn't know it before today. I'm smarter
that's
now because of it. You're right.
ding. The decree signed by the president late last week allocates funds for the search, registration, and legal protection of Russian property abroad, including property in the former territories of the Russian Empire and the Soviet Union.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay.
This would include Alaska, swaths of Eastern and Central Europe, large chunks of Central Asia, thank you, easy for me to say, and parts of Scandinavia. Russian foreign ministry.
It
Go ahead.
sounds like it sounds to me like he is laying the groundwork for like his justification for invading places that are highly controversial.
Not just invading though, like
claiming ownership of.
We've detailed on this very program that Russia has over the last several decades, while they had at least what we thought was a modern army, they were legitimately using and relying on a massive amount of what became outdated equipment, while they focused their real resources on espionage, intelligence. So this is in line with that sort of thing, because this is the Russian state going, or this particular czar wannabe. Let's just admit what he is. Like we celebrated, I think, the 100th birthday of Lenin the other day.
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy that kind of worships that ideology, and Lenin was not a good guy by no measure or stretch of anyone's imagination. Was he a good guy? He wants to reinstitute not just the Soviet Union,
the Russian Empire.
The Russian Empire, which, by the way, encroaches on Chinese territory.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
So, as a dog with a big bark and maybe not so much a great bite, and if you're already struggling against a nation state that you have shifted a ton of resources towards and have to now rely on North Korea, Iran, and China for supplies and ammunition for, and you're basically saying, hey guys, this is
he's
Poland,
kind of overstepping
Germany.
what he's kind of overstepping what he's capable of even doing, right? Like that's kind of what you're saying.
We suggest starting with Alaska, which is the Telegram. So this is igniting Russian Telegram channels and basically their right-wing media. This is great. The blogger wrote that the Kremlin should look to the Dnieper, Ukraine, Bessarabia, the Grand Duchy of Finland, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, the Central Asian states of Russian Turkestan, most of the Baltic provinces, and a significant part of Poland. Let me.
You have already told us in pretty good detail of why Russia doesn't really want to fuck with Poland, and that that sounds like something that they should be very, very cautious in what they say about that sort of thing.
If it came to that,
if they're having trouble with Ukraine, they're certainly going to have some trouble with Poland. I would think.
And I think, in all honesty, I think that's when nuclear weapons might come into play, just because that there's really no other way. There's
Mhm.
you've pissed off the Polish, and they've seen it. They've increased their spending, their GDP to defense spending more than any other European country. And I mean that by a magnitude of many times over.
Interesting.
Um,
So they see it coming too.
oh yeah, no, I think in one contract they spent billions in US dollars to buy like 100 Apache helicopters. Like they they were like, okay, uh, because they know, and that's why Ukraine's so important, right? Because they know if Ukraine falls, we're next. And
Sure.
there's no doubt about that.
Right.
There's no
Literally
doubt.
next door. Like it's the next piece of land. Yeah.
That's it. So um again, like we can laugh all we want, like, ah, he's claiming Alaska. Ha ha. No, he's kind of telling you what a dude who has at least what he thinks is the wherewithal to accomplish. Like, it doesn't matter how crazy the plan is. It really doesn't matter. Is
Sure.
can he do it?
Yeah, and we don't think
Is
he
what
can, right?
matters.
Because he's already struggling against Ukraine. He doesn't want that smoke from Poland.
Again, I don't know. A lot of the Ukraine fight doesn't make sense too, because they've sent so much equipment and so many men to basically to a grindhouse, right? Um, there are some reports that they've held back like their best of the best as far as
Mhm.
the Russian military, but go back through history. The Russian military is as corrupt as anything. That your commanding officer will be selling gasoline and diesel to fuel your equipment to the side, selling your boots and your winter gear to on the side, and giving you the shit stuff. And
Hmm.
that's throughout history.
Wow,
Like
that's
that,
crazy.
it's not just it's not this particular conflict. It's not Afghanistan back in the 80s. It's not the Koreas or the Vietnams. It's not the World War Tours, even the World War Ones. It's just that particular brand of society, civilization. Hey, we
Mhm.
brought you ballet and Dostoevsky. Hey,
We're good at
but
hockey.
but holy shit, yeah, we're so good at hockey that our decrepit and elderly leader is going to score 7 goals and 6 assists in 6
Score.
minutes of play,
Yeah.
right? So again, we haven't heard from our good friends over there, but what we always like to do is try to tie these things in together, right? That none of this stuff is in a vacuum, and none of these stories are particularly like isolated. If Well, we've talked about the situation in Israel and Gaza, and the possibility of escalation. It's escalated. Holy
Yes, it's
shit!
escalating
We're
officially.
we have got Iran firing missiles into Pakistan, and Pakistan sending special forces into Iran. We've got Iraq sending missiles and troops into Syria for limited engagements. And like, well, this is getting nuts. Lebanon, like Israel striking the Hezbollah targets and Lebanon, and like, this is getting nuts. And of
Yeah, it's
course,
getting pretty. It's getting pretty crazy.
we're getting pretty hot, as they say. The kids say these days. Um, uh, and of course, the situation in Yemen now, when the Houthis are filling themselves and thinking, "Hey, let's launch all this stuff over at like shipping lanes and container ships and all that kind of fun stuff, and fuck up like world commerce and the supply chain." Okay, well, you've really got the attention of the the commerce area, and what we tend to do here in the United States, and protect the money. So,
Hmm.
um, just today, there was an escalation of this situation. I think the U.S. has struck like 11 sites in Yemen, 11 to 12 Houthi sites in Yemen. Cruise missiles. I think, Ben, last week we were on the air as these strikes were starting to happen, I think,
I think so.
right? So there were two particular ships traveling that were hoping to cross the Suez Canal, right? And these two particular ships, according to the AP, which the story doesn't show up right on but according to the AP, these two particular Maersk U.S. Ships, they had U.S. flags on them, and that means something in maritime everything, I guess, is what flag are you flying? U.S. flags were allegedly containing U.S. Department of Defense and State Department equipment, right? These are those big ass ships. Those big ass ships, right? That's a lot of equipment. And anything State Department related is kind of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The CIA is involved. So if the CIA is involved, you can assume that not only if the Department of Defense involved, every basic intelligence, military intelligence agency is somehow involved in that too. Two really big container ships. That's a lot of shit, folks. And we're not talking just like headphones and little receiver, like satellite kind of like, oh, I'm listening in on you. We're talking a lot of fucking equipment over a stretch of area that's vitally important right now, right?
You can kind of see why on this map here. Why this area, the Suez Canal, is important. I mean, you have to go all the way around the continent of Africa if you're not able to go through that canal.
Again,
it literally cuts the route in half.
Literally half. And well, what's that mean to me? Well, money. Because the extra miles mean extra pay for the sailors, means extra fuel for the ships, and extra time to be delivered, which every person in between you and the manufacturer of your product is adding on layers of expense. They like to call that inflation sometimes. And that's what this is basically going to cause. Everything from toothpaste to TVs to Teletubbies.
Just in time for the election, Brooks.
Imagine that we're entering. Is this an election year? I hadn't heard.
Yeah, we'll get into that here in a second. I got thoughts.
And the Houthis, knowing that these two ships, again reported by the AP, are containing Department of Defense and State Department equipment. These two ships, now, thankfully,
Brooks, you smartened me up. I think it's important. You smartened me up off the air of what the State Department means, what that means when you hear the word State Department. What organizations does it mean? Because I think people could hear that and just think it's just another government office, but it's a little bit more than that. And it's a little bit more clandestine than that, right?
Actually, credit to the our friends here at the Reuters. Both commercial vessels are operated by Maersk. We've all seen those containers here in America. A subsidiary that cargo for the Department of Defense, Department of State, you said, and other U.S. government agencies. Look, for a long time, I think I just said it, but like I was like a long time, the cover for clandestine CIA operations has been, I worked for the State Department.
Right.
Because it's so nebulous. And
basically a CIA headquarters on the sea. Yeah.
Again, what are you transporting? Why are you transporting it? And how all of a sudden is this, pardon me, but backwoods terrorist organization suddenly targeting highly sensitive cargo ships specifically?
Right. How did they get that information? How did they know? It couldn't have. I mean, I guess it could just be a coincidence, right?
Sure.
There, on some level, there is some room for coincidence here.
And my left shoe feels good on my right foot.
I'm just saying, yeah.
Okay, well, fine, but
there's a sliver. There's a sliver.
You're a betting man, aren't you?
Not anymore, but yes. At one time.
Okay. Where would you put your money hypothetically?
Oh, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would not bet on it being a coincidence, but there is room for it to be. But yeah, highly, highly unlikely.
it's just a very and again, the ships coincidentally were also being escorted by U.S. cruisers that use drones, aircraft, and
So they were
missiles to
sticking out as important.
a little bit. So I guess if the Houthis had maritime intelligence feed it to them and said like, "Hey, this is interesting. We normally don't see tanker ships traveling or cargo ships traveling this route being escorted by U.S. Navy ships."
So
Okay.
do you think that intelligence comes from Iran?
Oh, that well. Okay. Well, I mean,
Or are we talking again our friends over in Russia somehow feeding it to them?
we've talked about the
The connections
news.
are there.
It's going to be from Iran,
Most
because
they're the most likely because
that
they're going to have intelligence in that area. They are backing the Houthis, right? In many ways.
directly,
Yeah.
directly. Like, how does a terrorist organization get ballistic missiles?
There's a black market for that, right?
A steady supply.
Isn't there a website you can go on?
Oh shit! Is there? Let's ask Eric Prince. I'm sure he's got something cool going on.
Mhm.
Yes, the Houthis are known to be directly backed by Iran, and Iran is friendly even like a good enough word to describe the relationship between Iran and Russia? Because everybody seems to be scratching each other's back, and that includes we're looking at you, North Korea for sure, and obviously China. But I think China's being very interesting in this whole thing. Not to get off topic, very interesting because they're sitting back and going, "Okay, we're gonna watch how all of this shit plays out.
Yes.
All of you assholes move on the chessboard, and I'm gonna wait to see how the world responds to Ukraine, Israel, Gaza, the Suez Canal, the all the Houthis, this that whatever's coming up. Nigeria right now is
Mhm.
on the verge of like civil war. We're gonna sit back and watch how this all plays out because we want Taiwan,
Right. And
and we
if the temperature is right for it, we can just go ahead and go for it. Because especially if a power like, say, a military power like, say, the United States were to be spread very thin, worrying about multiple wars across multiple continents, you would see the opportunity to just kind of like slide right in there at the end after they're busy with all the other shit and just take what that thing that you want that they
oh,
want.
we didn't think you'd notice.
Yeah. Oh, you were so
Oh,
busy with those other things that we
was
just
this
figured
important to
you
you?
would, yeah,
Oh,
we
my
figured we would
bad.
just slide that in there.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! Oh man, so sorry. We didn't. We misunderstood each other.
My bad. My
Yeah,
bad.
right. Uh,
Oh.
Speaking of misunderstanding each other, and the opposite of that, completely understanding each other. Um, uh, First of all, thank you, President Biden, for having the brains and enough to support unions.
I'll give
Whereas
him that.
the
Yep.
former guy showed up at a non-union shop trying to get union votes. Okay.
Yeah, great idea.
It was a fantastic idea and a brilliant bit of strategy that has yet to bear fruit. We've talked about the strike, and I don't know if Giovanni's still in the chat.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah. Our boy Stoney
uh,
McGee was a part of that
of the
that
United
protest.
Auto Workers Union,
Yes.
right? We talked about and we are pro labor here
Very
on the
much.
show, and we've talked about the strike that were literally the most brilliant strategic attack against a corporate manufacturing, probably in the history of unions and organized labor.
The UAW's leader did a heck of a job.
Sean Fain, which if you have any idea of the history of Ireland and its separatist groups, it sounds really weird to say because it's one of their terrorist groups. Sean Fain announced the UAW support for President Biden in his reelection. This is what he said. I know there are some people that want to ignore this election. They don't want to have anything to do with politics. Other people want to argue endlessly about the latest headline or scandal or stupid quote. Elections aren't just about your best friend for the job or the candidate who makes you feel good. Elections are about power. The backing of the Michigan-based UAW with more than 400,000 members could give Biden an edge in key battleground states that helped determine the last two political elections. He won Michigan by about 150,000 votes last year, and Trump won by about 10,000 the year earlier, 4 years earlier. Biden also won an endorsement of, okay, we don't get Hillary. We don't want to mention Hillary Clinton. We don't X-nay on the Hillary A.
So I don't want to be the party pooper here.
Yes.
But it is not going to matter. I'm here to tell you right now, on Wednesday, January 24th, 2024, buddy, I don't see Joe Biden winning an election against Donald Trump. It is not going to happen. For a number of reasons, including what this guy hinted at, which is that A, people are going to stay home because they don't want to vote for him. They don't see him as a viable candidate. I just don't think Joe Biden is an attractive candidate to people, to a large group of people. And it was so close last time that I think there's going to be people that sit out.
7 million votes is not close. I understand, like, the electoral thing is a different story, but 7 million.
Right, because the game is rigged. You have to remember the game is rigged with the Electoral College. So it's not about the popular vote. It's about the right votes in the right places and the right counties and that sort of thing. And if enough people sit out, I think we're still underestimating. I brought this up a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to harp on this for a while. I think there's a large group of Muslims that are not going to vote for Biden based on his siding with Israel. I think that's a big problem. I think that's a large group of people that he needs to have on his side. And I think that there is some in the African-American community that have kind of shifted, at least that they don't want Biden. I think there is enough backlash of anti-Biden. Like, it's not that I don't, that I want Trump.
Because he made promises, right? And that's the thing. Like, he made promises to certain groups, obviously, to court their vote, and hasn't come through, right? That's undeniable.
And again, I've talked about this many times. Visually, he doesn't appear like, he appears frail. He does make a lot of mental mistakes. He seems too old for the job. It's just not a viable candidate. And I've talked about this numerous times. We've discussed this. The Democrats are kidding themselves, I think, if they think that it's just going to be because he's not Trump, that's going to be good enough. And I've heard the statistics. An incumbent president with the approval ratings that he has never been reelected president. I think it's something like 33% approval rating. Like, there is a strong sentiment from independents that he is not the answer. And if of one of the two, at least Trump gives you the feeling that we'll have less war I get but there is that sense, right? There is that narrative out there. We didn't have these wars under Trump. That's all I hear. And I know why that's the bullshit narrative.
I because the nuance is missing, right? The context of that is missing. Like, it was
when you're working for the bad guys, it's easy to keep them from going to war,
right? Because you give them what they want. Anyway, what I was going to say to you is that, like, the New Hampshire primary is a very interesting political science experiment in that regard, because actually you're seeing by the numbers there, the independents and more moderate GOP, more centrist GOP conservatives, not only voting for Nikki Haley, who, look, she lost, sure, but it wasn't like some sort of crazy landslide.
The fact that she's the last one standing is impressive. When the fact that Ron DeSantis, we haven't even talked about that in the last week since we were on the air. Old Ronnie boy has saw himself out the door, along with Vivek and all the rest of them at this point. And Nikki Haley's the last one standing, and she did have a good showing in New Hampshire. I guess the only path that I see that Biden might be able to pull this off is if the Georgia election fraud case comes to fruition, and before the election itself happens, Trump is found guilty and punished. But if he's found guilty there, is he disqualified from being on the ballot at that point?
I think Mike Corbin, Republican out of some bumfuck state, said well, he can be president, he can be POTUS from jail. So I think that that logic, I don't have faith in. The fact that if Nikki Haley, first of all, really loves her country, first of all, and understands the situation, that the presumptive nominee for the GOP is Donald J. Trump, period, right? There's not much she can do about that. The base is so ravenous about
yes,
that, right? What she can do is what she's already started to do, and I hope she continues to do, is point out the cognitive decline and the multiple errors that he's making, because we hear all about Biden.
Oh yes, we talked about this.
Sleepy Joe, we hear all about Biden. If you didn't know he was a presidential candidate and you watched a Donald Trump rally, you would think that was a comedy bit.
He misidentified Nikki Haley as Nancy Pelosi the other day
and blamed her for the security on January 6th.
Yes, claimed that Nikki Haley was there on January 6th. Note, Nikki Haley was nowhere near the Capitol on January 6th. Just so we're clear.
Of government. No part of
she wasn't even a member of the United States government at that point. Yeah.
And
stupid.
He's also said that he beat Obama. Look, I'm not here to tell you Joe Biden's the greatest candidate we've ever fucking had. Clearly a man with flaws, but we've known that, right? And
I'm having a really difficult time convincing myself to vote for him again.
I don't think we have a choice, but that's the American democracy coming forward, right? If it becomes Trump versus Biden again, golly.
I hate to say this, but there is a chance that I just sit it out. If that's the case.
You can't. This might be the most important election of our lifetimes or any lifetime.
We say that, but I think we can get. I think we could just grit our teeth and get through another 4 years of Trump. We're at a point now where it's obstructionist government. Each side is just going to obstruct the other, and we're not going to get the needle's very likely to not move much more than it already has at this point. What more could he do in the next 4 years?
If you don't vote Kennedy, no, because that guy's
no, I don't like that guy either.
That's another thing. That's another 20 minutes, and we don't have that kind of time. If your thought process is that 4 more years of a guy who said he'd be a dictator on day one, and we all can understand that context.
He says a lot,
and nobody who's intelligent enough to hide their true ambitions would say something like that.
I understand, but there is limits. There is limits to even what he already learned the last time, that there's limits to what he can and cannot do and get away with, and what he can just do on a whim. There is enough checks and balances in place that nothing nothing major. I just don't see what else could come down the pike that would be life altering that we couldn't just grit our teeth through for 4 more years.
Another Muslim ban, another purge of. Look, there were riots.
The immigration thing is would get fucking crazy. That's where I think there would be that would be the big issue of those the next 4 years.
The dead Kennedys. Dad F and Brooks reference of the dead Kennedys, folks. If that's not
that's what I'm at. That's where I'm at, Ryan Hansen. Who do you vote for when they all suck?
Right.
It's a really
the one that sucks
and
less.
The cynic in me.
The one that's gonna at least support women's health rights
and unions. You're right. He's not perfect, and no one is.
No one is, and we all know his. Look, he is shit the bed about Israel and Gaza. Right? He's absolutely shit the bed. But let's also credit the things that the dude has gotten done, and by it, they're not broadcasted enough. The infrastructure deal alone, is a huge
and the
piece
fact
of
that
legislation.
Say what you will about the economy, but the economy could have been a whole lot worse than it was.
Well, Donald Trump wants it to collapse.
Well, of course they do. It's an election year.
Who says that?
And they want the economy to collapse too.
Who says that though? I mean, I'm just saying.
A guy like him who just is all about winning. He just
Yes. I'm sorry. I didn't know
I get that.
Like, the teacher.
But then even that wasn't the whole thing. They had to peel back some of that. That didn't even come through.
Why? But why? Because of
obstructionist government.
Politics.
Yes, I agree, but that's not going away.
Let's hope it does.
I understand, man, but there's not a whole lot of evidence to make you feel good about that. At this point, man, I have to see. I think we're in for another 4 years of Trump. I just don't see how it breaks another way. There's going to have to be something significant. And I don't even know what that is. Because you're right. Even if these court cases break the wrong way, Trump is at such a point, dude, that he is at like a past martyr stage. There's nothing he could say. There's no mistakes he can make. There's nothing he could suggest that would be so outlandish. There's no thing he could be found guilty of that would sway these people.
Yep.
The numbers don't lie. The poll numbers are continuing to be outrageous that this man has this much support.
But that's why you can't do anything about that group. That's why you have to
go after the independents.
Look, here in Illinois, the last gubernatorial election, J.B. Pritzker, billionaire, heir to the Hyatt hotel empire, right? Made campaign contributions to his particular favorite Republican candidate because he knew he was going to wipe that dude all over the state and fucking kill him. Mm-hmm. So he made strategic decisions on PACs and everything like that to say, oh, we're going to funnel money to this guy because I know I can beat him. Like, that is part of the game in this aspect, but to completely write off one candidate or another and to go into this weird like state of like, I don't trust this. I don't believe it is. That's what gets Donald J. Trump elected. And I don't know that there's a woman in the chat zone right now that wants to see Donald J. Trump reelected, period.
I get that.
And I would suggest not bowing out of the election based on propaganda, based on, I don't think this guy is the best candidate ever, because again, that person doesn't exist. And I'm okay with what is basically going to be a bridge presidency, because there's a list of
who's after that though, man.
Oh shit. Pete Buttigieg, watch out for that dude for sure.
I don't know, man.
That's going to ignite a whole different conversation. Kamala Harris has her own struggles in that same regard. But like,
I don't see it. I don't see either of them as electable on a national stage.
and it doesn't matter because the most important election of our lives, or maybe our lifetime, is up ahead of us in this November. So again, the most important thing you can do as a citizen of this country is vote. It is the one thing that they've always asked you. Just do it. Just do this, and whatever happens, happens. It's right.
I get it. It took me a long time to come around on it, and I still fight that urge to just fucking throw my hands up and go, fuck all of this. This is all nonsense. It doesn't matter. Like, I still have that piece that just kind of every once in a while just says, Joe Biden sucks so bad though.
Sure. Does he stutter? Is he old? Does he forget things? Does he sometimes does he need a nap? Absolutely. I get it. I get it.
He has a problematic history of his own. Like, he's been at it so long that that you can go back to look at things that he said decades ago that contradict the things that he feels about now. And it's very easy to make him a target. He's a very easy target.
He represents the establishment.
Yes.
Right. But in this regard, he represents stability and a decent representation of the goals, ideals, laws, and traditions of this country. And I honestly think if given another 4 years of Donald Trump, we would see we would become a country that we wouldn't recognize.
Yeah, AOC is not next.
She's not next.
No,
she's not next. No,
she does not have it.
She where she is and what she does is perfect for her.
Yeah,
I don't think she
anything
has
more
broad
than that.
appeal.
No, she does not.
But in what she does, and I like me some AOC because she's a fierce firebrand for a particular community, which she's supposed to be.
Right, and she's another one of those people that uses her 5 minutes when she gets her 5 minutes to speak on a subject or ask questions of a witness in front of a panel. She uses them wisely and uses them to point out things that actually matter and point out when the other side is playing politics and where they're being hypocritical. Her and Jasmine Crockett have that innate ability to concisely in 5 minutes or less drive home a point with such eloquence and accuracy and venom.
Shout out to Jamie Raskin for that same ability.
Also able to do that same thing. Yes. And there's a couple others. Yes.
Yeah. Because Raskin knows all of the procedural things too. Right. So when you don't see the right thing, and we've shown that video,
right.
When you don't when you don't know how business is conducted on that floor, and you just it's great. Anyway, well, we've really parked on a bunch of stories, and that's the beauty of this show, I guess, right? Yes. Yeah. But we do need actually some palate cleansing for sure. But I also want to point out the power of Topic Thunder, because last week, the last video we showed was a parade of emperor penguins through the Cincinnati Zoo, and Jordan went nuts.
Mm-hmm.
This week, we find out that thousands more emperor penguins have been discovered via satellite on Antarctica.
What?
I would like to solely credit Topic Thunder for this discovery, not the scientists who have been freezing their nuts off in Antarctica,
right?
Pouring over satellite images.
I'm serious though. Like, if you could own a penguin, I think I might own a penguin.
Yeah, but I think
it's not right, because obviously those penguins need to be in that cold weather for some reason.
They'd be so awesome to have a penguin.
Could you imagine? I'm not one to let something like a pet or anything sleep in bed with me, but I have a feeling if that penguin right there at the front, if I owned him, I think I'd let him sleep in my bed with me.
It's probably too warm.
Probably.
Yeah.
but I'd
You'd be like,
snuggle
"Fuck your
the
bed."
shit out of that penguin.
All right.
My
You're so cute.
Adrian is, if she's listening to this, is furious
She's like,
downstairs right now. Furious.
I would like to take a little bit of credit for the increase and the discovery of the new population of emperor penguins.
See, I told
feel
you.
me? Okay, so in that vein, then, so if we are so blessed and so special and so charismatic on the air here that we can affect not only global politics but like global wildlife populations, folks, let me bring you to the story of the world's first rhino IVF pregnancy that could save a species that only has 2 living animals remaining.
Holy shit.
There are just 2 northern white rhinos left in the entire world. The whole world. We're watching an extinction in progress. The last 2.
That's crazy.
And they're both female. But now their species has a chance for survival, as researchers have for the first time achieved IVF rhino pregnancy. Not to get into specifics, but they figured out a way to inseminate the females to hopefully reproduce and repopulate the species. White rhinos as a whole have been declining in numbers due to poaching. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, assholes.
You fucking jerks. With your guns, go shoot it with some arrows or spears, or like be traditional in your high-powered rifles. There are 2 subspecies, the southern white rhino and the northern white rhino, the latter of which is considered extinct in the wild. No more northern white rhinos. I'm sorry, southern white. The 2 northern white rhinos remain in the world and reside in a 700-acre enclosure in Kenya's Pecha Conservatory, where they are 24-hour observed with armed security.
That's great.
That is great. And shout out to the conservatory, because also in Kenya is our show favorite Sheldrake Wildlife Conservatory, right?
Yep.
The embryo was not placed in one of the northern white rhinos. Instead, a southern white rhino embryo was produced and transferred into the southern white rhino surrogate mother at the conservatory. The embryo was placed on September 24th, adding they confirmed a pregnancy of 70 days within a well-developed 7.4 centimeter long male embryo. The successful embryo transfer and pregnancy are proof of concept and allowed to move safely now to the transfer of northern white rhino embryos. It's a cornerstone in the mission to save. So they are basically impregnating southern rhinos
with northern white rhino
embryos.
But now they're going to try to do it white rhino to white rhino. Not because they have proof.
I mean, that's just what you do.
Right? Makes sense.
Right? So if we were able to specifically find and help repopulate emperor penguin species, we are now trying to actively repopulate the northern white rhino. That's just Topic Thunder. You want a little bit of a palate cleanse? Because I think we're going to go a little bit long here today.
Yeah, we could. I mean, we got all kinds of animal stuff to get people.
Oh, I want this animal. Have you seen the lion? Let's do the lion, please. Ever wanted to hear a baby lion try to roar? Practice its roar.
It does sound great.
It's adorable. Look at the mom. Just for the record, that super cute 10-pound little thing is going to turn into a 600-pound apex predator.
Yeah, right? That will definitely try to kill you.
That is definitely not going to be like, I'm so cute and you are too. No,
don't you want to cuddle with me? No, not like a penguin. No.
If you're not food, you're just a toy. Speaking of toys, Ben.
Yes.
just yesterday, a major announcement in the entertainment business was announced, and that Netflix has acquired the rights to not only the World Wrestling Entertainment's Raw, but also, I guess, a couple of pay-per-views and also special telecasts. They've also exclusively acquired the rights to not only Raw, WWE shows, specials, including SmackDown and pay-per-views across the globe, not inside the US, outside the US. This is a big
It's a major deal. It's a major deal
Ben.
because it is Netflix. Now they dip their toes a little bit into the live streaming with they did a golf deal where the golfers. No, it was with they had. They have two different sports documentaries. They did an F1 documentary where they like followed F1 drivers around and did like a behind the scenes documentary. They also did one with a bunch of golf guys from the PGA Tour. Well, they combined people from both of those and did like a celebrity golf thing live on Netflix. It was Netflix's first live event, their first attempt at a live broadcast. And obviously it went well. WWE has been in the market for shopping their television rights because they are about to come up. Their deal with Hulu is about to end, and their deal with Peacock NBC is about to come to an end. And so they have been looking for a partner for a while, and Amazon was in the running for it. And there was some rumblings that Netflix was going to get in on this. And obviously the live content thing went well because they're spending a lot of money on this. And this is a huge step towards Netflix completely down. They've basically dominated streaming up to this point. And the last step, the last venture was live television.
It was like undiscovered country, right? Like as far as sports specifically,
right? Sports and entertainment, live sports and entertainment, live events is something that they had not done yet. They had not really dabbled in, and this is a huge step towards that. Netflix is coming for the streaming fucking throat right here. That's what this is.
And there'll be several contracts for major sports organizations coming up soon too. I know the NHL had just recently signed deals with like ESPN and TBS, right?
Yeah.
But the NHL is kind of ripe for Netflix because it's not anyway.
It's fringy. It's fringy enough, but yeah,
and
that it won't cost too much, but they can get in on the live sports stuff. Yeah, no, it makes sense. I think they're going to try to. I think the next move is to try to get football, some sort of football.
Oh my God.
Whether
Wednesday night game,
whether they steal Monday nights from ESPN or they steal Thursday nights from Amazon. I don't know how long those contracts are, but I have to feel like they are going to get in on somewhere along the lines. They're going to get on football because that's the big cash cow. That's the big live television cash cows. If you can get in on the NFL money, that's why everybody's willing to do it. That's why Amazon paid a lot of money to get shit football games on Thursday nights.
And they've actually mentioned like Raw doesn't necessarily have to be on Mondays because they're probably looking forward to that. Just numbers wise, Netflix signed a 5-year, $5 billion with a B dollar deal with the WWE. That's $1 billion a year. That is compared to their current deal with Comcast that pays the WWE $265 million a year.
A little bit of a difference between the two.
Just a little bit of a difference. So they really reached out. And look, you can't beat wrestling programming, especially if they're going to, as they say, they're going to like branch out and you know how much they want to make movies and TV shows and this, that, and the other, right? So it's right for original content, which I guess is like the gold mine for all these streaming services.
Yes, and who else this also helps is UFC, because obviously they are tied under the TKO banner. They are tied with WWE. So if WWE can get their foot in the door with Netflix, you have to imagine the next time UFC comes up for a deal, Netflix is going to be right there. They already have been working. Will have already been working with TKO. I'll say this. I saw somebody on my Facebook page say this, and I totally agree. The greatest hire that Vince McMahon ever made in the entire history of World Wrestling Federation / entertainment is Nick Khan. Nick Khan, because he negotiated this whole thing. He was brought on to negotiate this television rights deal, and to be able to get $5 billion out of Netflix, he's earned every penny that he has gotten as being named president of the WWE. The mission accomplished for that guy.
Was that a Vince McMahon thing, or was that a Triple H or Stephanie McMahon? Like, hey,
no, Nick Khan was very much a Vince McMahon hire. He was hired quite a while ago. And
he's the Rock. He's friends with the Rock, right?
Very close with the Rock, who, by the way, was also named to the board of directors of TKO, and even more interestingly, was given the trademark rights to everything involving the Rock.
The Rock as his moniker, right?
Correct. So all of his merchandise, he has control of all of that now. When it comes to his wrestling identity, he is in full control of it, which not a lot of guys have. Almost nobody has that. Has that kind of control over their. Yeah.
Who?
I'll say this. Speaking of which, if I were to have just signed with this wrestling company, it would be very fortunate of me to have just signed with this company as they announced this $5 billion television deal, and be one of the people that is like on television a lot. That would probably be a pretty advantageous spot for said person.
Sometimes things
some people fail up constantly,
and sometimes you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, Ben.
Indeed.
Hey, really quick,
how about reindeer going around in a circle?
You want to see that? You want to see what? Yes. You want to see a reindeer cyclone?
Basically, that's what this is.
That's what they call it. It's the well-known.
Oh, is that what they really call it? That's great.
They call it a reindeer cyclone, and it's when the reindeer go around in circle, protecting the weakest, which are located in the center of the circle.
Makes sense.
Look at them.
That is crazy. That is a massive humanity.
Reindeer. That's a lot of beef right there.
That is a lot of four-legged people or four-legged things.
Look at that. It's like, you went to your friend had a pool party, and you're like, hey, we're going to make waves. We're going to make a whirlpool.
Right. Yeah. This is like a weird whirlpool.
Except it's like, fuck you, wolves. We're going to protect our elderly and our
get through
special needs reindeer.
Yeah. Get through this fucking wall of fucking beef.
I dare you. Right?
That's cool.
And then we've got a couple of birthdays to celebrate here today. This is a star of the show. Fiona the Hippo celebrates her 7th birthday today. And we've been following this story for a long time. And Fiona the Hippo was a premature hippo that was basically on the verge of not making it, saved by the Cincinnati Zoo, and has become an absolute star. We've shown videos of Fiona and her family before, but today is her 7th birthday.
Aw.
Look at that baby hippo.
These are all familiar videos. We've seen all of these, I think.
Look at little Fiona, the second cutest Fiona in the world. She made 100 pounds. She's known for her little ear wiggles and just kind of being a butthead. But again, hippos, they make no sense. That animal makes no sense.
Yeah, no, it's a like before. It's basically a water murder cow.
It's basically it's an armored murder water cow.
Right.
It doesn't care.
It doesn't get, and it is the baddest motherfucker on the planet, and I think it knows it's the baddest motherfucker on the planet.
That's how you're so chill.
Right, because like who's gonna fuck with me?
Like
I'm a hippo.
We've shown videos where a lone hippo charges in against 3 lions, and the lion.
I saw a video the other day. Dude. This crocodile, or it was a crocodile, right? I always get those confused. Crocodile, alligator, whatever. One of those killed a baby hippopotamus when the rest of the herd was away, and the herd of hippopotamus came back and fucked that crocodile up. It was unbelievable, dude. Armored Murder Cow is a great band name.
It is. You see, and then Fiona becomes a big sister to little Fritz. Fritz becomes,
right.
Yep. So
no big deal. It could just crush a watermelon.
Just no problem. Just chomp.
No big deal. Like it's a fucking peanut.
Interesting to note that the tusk-like teeth that the hippos have never stop growing. Ever.
Really?
Oh yeah. That's how they fight in the wild. So that's a little playful practice. That might be Tucker, Fiona's father. But yeah, so happy birthday to Fiona, the hippo, not the dog.
Indeed.
The second
not
cutest.
the dog. Not the dog.
Not the dog. Not exactly the best or most appropriate segue into my parents' most favorite segment, the VIPs. Ladies and gentlemen, and if you're new to the joining us for the first time, cool, thank you. Let me explain what the lightning round is. It is when 3 stories enter the world's most dangerous chat zone. Those stories are read out loud, and then we choose the winner. That winner is chosen by you, the people, in the true exercise of democracy. So, without any waiting or silliness, because I said dilly or dally earlier, we give you headline number 1. Nude man nabbed by police after cannonball plunge into a giant aquarium at Bass Pro Shop in Alabama.
Yes. Didn't we already have a Bass Pro Shop story a couple of weeks ago that didn't get read, that a guy caught it and stole it and ran out of the store with it? Is this becoming an epidemic of people jumping in the tanks at Bass Pro Shops?
I think Bass Pro Shop has a security problem.
I think there's a corporate meeting at Bass Pro headquarters where they're like, do we really need the tanks of fish in the stores anymore?
Or are they saying this is great publicity?
Maybe.
Headline number 2. Chinese marathon runner disqualified for chain smoking through entire race.
Disqualified? I think he should be given bonus points.
You should win the gold, silver, and bronze medal.
Yeah. If he can win while chains. Oh, come on. That's just bullshit. I feel bad for this guy.
Headline number 3.
2. Like, you just even need to hear the next one.
That's
2.
It. Thunderbolts up in the Thunderdome. Thank you very much. And headline number 3. Potty mouth parrots teaching other birds to swear as zoo hatches plan to stop a problem.
See, I like this story too. This was supplied by our boy Ryan Hansen, I believe.
Ryan Hansen did throw this one up to us.
Yeah, look at 2 is running away with this thing. People are wanting to support our man here.
And folks, as we start to contabulate the votes as they roll in, my good man Aaron
Yes.
in the zone 2 hatches planned, right? It's a great bit of irony and a great bit of writing too. So there's a lot of reasons.
Good on Aaron to catch that, by the way.
Good, a lot of reasons to like that story. And as we kind of start rolling through,
Yeah, let's hear it one more time.
One more time? One more
although
time?
2 is seeming to run away with this early.
here we go.
Oh wait, the
Headline number 1.
Australian guy rears his head.
He's here.
Or hit a guy, right? So it is
Thy
a he.
Australian guy, and I love it too. It rhymes. It's symmetric.
So number
it's
3
beautiful.
coming out of nowhere to kind of close the gap here.
Number 3 represents headline number 1. Nude man nabbed by police after cannonball plunge into giant aquarium at Bass Pro Shop in Alabama. Headline number 2. Chinese marathon runner disqualified for chain smoking through entire race.
Bullshit.
And headline number 3. Potty mouth parrots teaching other birds to swear as zoo hatches plan to stop the problem.
It's a parrot of my own heart.
Oh, parrot of your own heart. Ha ha.
Wow, this is at 2 and 3. This is as close. I might have to actually vote.
All right, I'm starting to go back. I'm going to go through all of this.
Derek voting for 3.
Derek, you mean Supreme?
Yes, I always like hesitate on how to identify him. But yeah,
It's, Hatch's plan, and we got data from Brooks in there, folks. I'm scrolling through your votes right now. Just a reminder, we tend to do this every Wednesday. It's about 7 p.m.
as much as possible.
Central Standard
Ah,
Time.
yes.
Ah, yes. We got Ma Jordan voting in. Oh, she's the 5th vote there. Oh shit, we are. This is close. Oh shit. All right. Well, officially, folks, let me put it like this. If you have not voted by now, please do.
Yes.
Right now,
is Billy Whack out there
tie.
somewhere? Maybe
We are in a tie.
Wow, I might have to break the tie, and I feel bad about this because I want to hear both. But
because literally, if you know the way the United States Senate sits, the vice president is the Fiona votes number 2. Well, okay. We're gonna birthday rules. that's
wrong,
not
Fiona.
Wrong Fiona's birthday.
Well,
It's not that Fiona's birthday. We do.
I guess does it fall to me to make a decision? It's been this like 148th episode or something.
142.
See, I was pretty close.
You were very.
I think out of 142, I think this may be the 3rd time I've ever had to break it.
The people have spoken. Do we do ties? Do ties work in a democracy?
We've also read multiple stories at once, but we're also all running up against the clock.
All right, well, fuck it. Here's story number 2, or we're gonna read story number 3. Hang on to your butts.
All right, fuck it. I got
Being in good enough shape to complete a full 26.2 mile marathon at 52 years old is impressive. To do so while chain smoking the entire race is downright insane. That's what a man named Uncle Chen did during his marathon in China earlier this year. But apparently all his effort is for naught. He has been disqualified. Reportedly, quote, smoking on the track. Smoking on the track was the reason for disqualification. Yeah, that's literally the line. The Xiamen Marathon Committee issued a statement announcing the disqualification for violating an article in the Xiamen Marathon Rules and Regulation. Article 2.12 states, quote, uncivilized behavior from runners, such as open defecation, smoking, trampling on flower beds or green spaces that affect the race, and the safety of other runners will result in disqualification. Let's park on that for a second. That all of those things are in one specific article. Open defecation, smoking, and trampling on flower beds and green spaces are all lumped into the same specific 2.12 article. That's That's an interesting grouping and not like a parlay I would ever have imagined.
Right. Open defecation, bad. Closed defecation, we're all right with.
All right, I'm okay. Explain both. Well, okay, I guess you don't need to explain open. Anyway, Uncle Chen crossed the finish line just 5 minutes slower than his 3 hour, 28 minute finish from just 2 years ago and placed 574th out of more than 1,500 runners.
It's still impressive.
You are a champion.
Yes. Again,
All right.
should be awarded bonus points.
Did you scroll down to see where he's lighting one while he's running?
No, that's cool.
Oh, my friend. He has been at this for a while, too. Uncle Chen was first photographed in 2018 during the Gonzangguju Marathon, which he completed in 3 hours and 36 minutes. He competed at the same marathon a year later, finishing 4 minutes better at 3 hours and 32 minutes. He previously had been allowed to compete while keeping up his bad habit, but the Chinese Athletic Association implemented a new rule last year, which to promote healthy participation and curb smoking during events. There it is.
This guy's
There it is.
He is a legend.
That
He is
dude,
you know what? He is going in the Topic Thunder Hall of Fame.
he has my vote for president.
Along with the guy that has sex with the sex robots.
We haven't heard from him for a while, and
It's been a while.
We need to put a line out.
An APB. We need to put an APB out on fucking sex robot.
That guy.
That
I
guy.
forget his name.
But right along, Mr. Chen or Uncle Chen.
Yeah, Uncle Chen is
He's
forever
right there.
ingrained in our memories and our hearts.
Indeed.
And we promised headline number 3, so here we go. Potty mouth parrots teaching other birds to swear as zoo hatches plan to stop the problem. These birds need to wash their mouths out with soap. Thanks, New York Post. A wildlife park in the UK conspired a new plan to stop their potty mouth parrots from cursing, telling zoo visitors to fuck off.
Yes.
Why would that is?
Oh, it's so
look,
great.
Look, as a resident of Chicago, I go to Edna Bevick's to be insulted while they give me my burger and fries. I go to the Annoyance Theater to be insulted and pay $15 to be entertained. A Lincolnshire wildlife.
I would go and I would encourage these birds if I was at that zoo.
Oh my God, I want one now. The Lincolnshire Wildlife Park revealed that they are taking 8 cuss-happy African gray parrots, including 5 who went viral in 2020, and grouping them with 92 non-swearing birds to improve their language.
No, this is going to have the opposite effect. The swearing birds are going to teach the non-swearing birds how to swear. That's where this goes, right?
Yes. Quote, I'm hoping above the general noise of the flock and swearing will be drowned out. This is from the park's chief executive, Steve Nichols, as he told CNN. When we came to move them, the language that came out of their carrying boxes was phenomenal. Really bad. Not normal swear words. These were proper expletives. Proper expletives is a band name, an album name.
Yeah, the water murder cows. Is that what we called them? That's
We're the murder water cows, and this is our first song of our first album. You may have heard it. It's called Proper Expletives. However, if all goes wrong, the Lincolnshire Wild Park could have 100 cussing parrots.
I hope so. I fucking
roll the
hope
dice, motherfucker. The method to the madness will be aimed at diluting the African Gray's swearing so that they'll be able to learn, quote, all the nice noises like microwaves and vehicles reversing that the non-swearing birds typically mimic. The African Gray parrot are one of the most highly intelligent birds on the planet, in which the birds are known for their distinctive cognitive abilities and impressive skill to mimic speech. According to a 2019 Harvard study, the African gray parrot can perform cognitive tasks at a level that rival a 5-year-old human.
Holy shit!
This is a quote from Nichols. 6 of them have men's voices. 2 of them have got ladies' voices.
What?
And when they're all swearing, it does sound really bad.
Is there audio of this? I wonder. There's gotta be.
Sure. The 5 infamous African Greys, named Billy, Elsie, Eric, Jade, and Tyson, gained popularity in 2020 when the 5 were separated for swearing at zoo visitors. I'm sure we covered this, but I don't remember. After the 5 birds were quarantined together due to nationwide coronavirus outbreak, the witty birds somehow taught each other the wide range of curse words and expletives. Quote, people have come to us, but think they are highly amusing. We haven't heard one complaint, Nichols told The Guardian in 2020. When a parrot tells you to not a parent, that's different. When a parrot tells you to fuck off, it's amusing to a lot of people. It brought a big smile in a really hard year. Do we have video of this?
Fuck off. Fuck off. Did you just swear? Oh. Hi.
Hi.
Are you a cheeky parrot? What's your name? Well, what's your name?
Me.
I wanted to swear. What's your name?
Come on, bird. Let's go.
Mr. Parrot. Is that your name? Hello. Hello. Stop scratching and be more sociable. Hello. Hello.
Come on.
Hello.
Why did I have to pick this one? Say it.
Hello.
God damn it, bird.
What's your name? Your name's Fuck
What?
Off. Is that what they tell you in here all the time? Hello. What's your name? Do you have a name? What's your name?
What?
Hi.
You communicate with a fucking bird?
What's your name?
Bird.
What's your name, Mr. Parrot? Oh, I'm a parrot and I'm amazing and I stay in a cage.
I want an African gray parrot.
Touching after her.
Hi.
What's your name?
Hi.
Fuck off.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, they're annoying.
So apparently we're not gonna see it. Hold on.
So there's a warning sign there that reads, for your information, every common swear word can be heard in this aviary. So please be aware if you have people with you of a sensitive nature.
Yeah, they're not gonna show. They're not gonna actually have the parrot cuss on television.
I really I guess again we had the birds.
I'm so mad.
Billy, Elsie, Eric, Jade, and Tyson. I guess there's Eric, Captain, and Shayla that also have an awesome vocabulary. Again, birds are descendants of dinosaurs. They have hollow bones.
Yeah,
They're closely related to velociraptors and not our friends. Just to let you know. That is awesome.
that's incredible.
That a bird can mimic words. Shut up, hunt. Bullocks? Yes.
That's incredible.
It's a bird. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Topic Thunder. That's as best a segue as you're going to get right now, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
We went long, so thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for hanging out there. Not our friends. Birds are not our friends. Just to let you know.
They're not even real.
Neither are reptiles.
If that is any further proof that birds aren't real, I don't know what is.
People who have like lizards as pets, and fish too. They don't look at you as your friend or your like companion. They look at you as food. And if something happens, I'm just gonna eat you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we do. So if you like it, cool, thanks. Tell your friends. If not, as my old friend Uncle Don used to say, keep your mouth shut. It's Topic Thunder, folks. This is brought to you by the world's most famous chat zone. We call it the Thunderdome. That's where you are right now. Thanks for joining us on Facebook, on YouTube, the Twitch, from the deck of USS Rapapa. Broox and Ben, special happy birthday to our good friend Charlie. Happy birthday, Charlie.